Should Congress press ahead on health care reform? Well, an overwhelming majority of Americans don't think so. By nearly a 2-to-1 margin, voters in a recent Rasmussen poll say they want Congress to work on more immediate ways to improve the economy and, most importantly, create jobs. But despite the strong sentiment out there, many House and Senate leaders are still pushing forward on the legislation. So is there a plan to get health care reform completed in a timely enough way that will also allow Washington to work on these other important issues for a fair and balanced debate? Let's bring in Republican Deputy Whip Congressman Kevin Brady of Texas, ranking member of the House Joint Economic Committee, and Democratic Congressman John Adler of New Jersey. He sits on the Financial Services Committee. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on.
Thank you, Julie.
Congressman Brady, let me start with you. You know, the Obama administration just unveiled a new jobs plan with tax breaks aimed at small businesses, a very much needed idea. But how is Congress going to tackle these issues, and when will they find time if it continues to hammer away at health care reform?
Well, you know, obviously the White House took its eye off the ball on the economy for the past year, and that's why we're still struggling. It's good to have them finally turn to it, but the truth is small businesses aren't looking for gimmicks from Congress. In fact, their biggest concerns, three biggest concerns, are Congress, credit, and customers. Congress is scaring them to death with higher health care prices, higher energy prices, higher taxes and mandates. They can't get credit. They're not asking for government credit, but they want the government to quit squeezing the local banks so they can turn that faucet back on. And finally, you know, customers aren't coming back because they're frightened by the deficit. They're frightened by what they hear coming out of Washington. Until you get jobs or businesses confident they won't be punished when they add new workers, we're not going to see the recovery we want.
Congressman Adler's study suggests that for every 1 percentage point rise in the national unemployment rate, about 1.1 million people, more people I should add, become uninsured. So wouldn't it make sense to put the emphasis on small businesses, give them that tax incentive they need so that they can hire those employees that they had to lay off, hire them back, and in turn provide those employees with health insurance? In other words, get people working first, insure them second.
Well, I think that's exactly right. I think our economy is the #1 focus. I was happy to hear the president talking about it Wednesday night. I think, frankly, we should have been talking about it throughout 2009 every single day. Kevin knows people, Julie, you know people, I know people that don't have jobs right now, people who have been working that can't find a new job. They've been laid off. People who are coming out of college or high school can't find their very first job and are cheated out of their opportunity to be part of the American dream. We've got to have our focus be on those jobs, be on small businesses, give some stability, some predictability to the business community so it can do what it does well for the American public, which is grow opportunities to be part of the American dream.
You know, Congressman Brady, if health care reform hasn't passed, and as it currently stands, it's not going to get the vote of Massachusetts Senator-elect Scott Brown, what is Congress's next step?
Well, you know, what I'd like to see, obviously, like to see the president and Speaker Pelosi say, look, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's sit down with Republicans and take that step-by-step approach, starting with driving down the cost of health care with lawsuit reform, for example. But I'm afraid I don't see that happening. It sounds like the Speaker's intent on trying to push through the plan they already have.
Okay, you just mentioned sit down with Republicans. The question is that going to happen? I mean, Congressman Adler, you know, many small businesses are toting the line of bankruptcy just to keep their current employees insured. And when you talk about sitting down with Republicans, well, House Minority Leader John Boehner came up with an alternative, which got voted down. And essentially what it would do is it would let business groups pool resources to purchase coverage and allow insurance to be bought across state lines. That proposal was rejected 258 to 176 back in November before the House approved the Democratic legislation. So when the Republicans propose something, the Democrats don't like it. So where's the middle road here? Is there one?
Well, Julia, let me challenge you on that.
Yeah, what was wrong with Boehner's alternative? Maybe you can tell me.
Hold on for a second, Julia. I'm actually one of the sponsors of the bill you just described.
Okay.
It's a bipartisan bill that would allow businesses to shop for insurance across state lines and let carriers come in across state lines. I don't care, as a guy from New Jersey, if my businesses are buying from a New Jersey Blue Cross Blue Shield or from an Idaho Blue Cross Blue Shield.
As long as you get the insurance, what difference does it make, right?
Exactly right. So I think that's a lost opportunity to reform the insurance insurance market. We don't have capitalism working there. We've got one or two carriers that dominate a market in the Houston area, in the Cherry Hill, New Jersey area, and anywhere around this country. And that's not working for consumers. It's driving business costs up and pushing more businesses towards bankruptcy, towards failure, and more people towards unemployment. We can't afford that. We've got to fix those markets, make them work for business, for consumers, for America.
Why didn't that vote go through then? It seems like it was a good idea.
I don't ever want to answer for the Democrats, for the Republicans. I can answer for John Adler. I think that's a necessary market reform that would help America's employers and employees in a very positive way.
Maybe you should talk to your fellow Democrats in Congress.
Well, I do. I talk to Democrats and Republicans. I've passed bills. Kevin's voted for bills that I've introduced that are bipartisan in nature, that are for small business, that are for the economy, that are for creating jobs and letting people enjoy the American dream. We need more of that. I was very happy to see Kevin and the Republicans talking to a Democrat president. We need a lot more of that. That was a very positive sign for both Republicans and Democrats alike of trying to work together to help our country.
Congressman Brady, I'll give you the final word.
Well, I think the president is sincere, but I don't think the speaker is. We've tried repeatedly. We've offered solutions on everything from how to get the economy going to how to get health care costs down and how to get the deficit down. But we don't get anywhere, frankly, with the speaker, and I don't see that changing, unfortunately.
All right. Congressman Brady, and thank you very much, Adler, for coming on and talking to us about this.
Thanks, Julie.
Great.
Now to the crisis in Haiti. One of the